morning. Just setting up camera. Everything looks a little bright and grainy. I'm not sure why, but we'll just get rolling regardless. Okay, thank you for joining us today. Let's take a moment to get into our mindful bodies. Good morning. Taking a moment to settle into the mindful body with several deep breaths. Today we'll be exploring more skillful management of conflict and just reminding ourselves how the brain and body work together like a hand, the wrist being sort of the spine, the meat of our palm here is like the brain stem, then here's our emotions, and finally our big mammal brain gets to everything last. So we've got this primal response to circumstances that we need a mindful gap to navigate through. And the more we practice that, the easier it gets, the more committed we feel to the highest and best for our own lives and for those around us. And of course, the more successful we are, the more regular we are in our practice of this, the better we feel. So it's a win-win. And we're going to get into this skillful visualization of conflict management. And we'll begin with several of our other anchors, including listening to my frisky cat. Listening to the sounds within, feeling the breath in the body, feeling our feet on the ground or chair or cushion. Noticing our bottoms holding us up and straight, relaxed spine. Reminding ourselves to breathe if we've been holding our breaths. Relaxing the hands. Relaxing the belly. Noticing the rise and fall of the torso with each breath. Relaxing the face and shoulders. And let's just sit with the breath for a couple minutes. Returning from any distractions we experience compassionately to the breath. Let's lay an intention. Let's allow each inhalation to be a renewed commitment to ourselves for bringing highest and best to our lives and to the lives of those around us. And with each exhalation, we lay down that which doesn't serve. It can be thoughts of self-judgment or lack of self-worth, not belonging, not being competent. Each inhalation nourishes that divine spark in us that does belong, that is worthy, that is competent. And with each exhalation, we lay down what doesn't serve. We may have a lifetime behind us of listening to mostly the negative voices of not belonging, not being worthy, and not being competent. So if it's hard to focus, welcome to the club. We have years of this thinking to undo, and it takes time. It's important for us to pat ourselves on the back and to recognize the accomplishment in one breath that honors our self-worth, our belonging to this community, and our competence. If we can get in one breath, even that is something to be proud of. Makes it easier to get onto the next breath, and also easier to let go of that which doesn't serve. It's the sound of my cat tangled up in my favorite house sweater, which is already pretty ratty, so I'm not concerned. And moving on to our core intention for today's practice. Let's call to mind any situation that happened or any area where we have conflict with another person where we would like to respond more skillfully. In my case, it's a road rage incident this past week where I totally humiliated myself in front of my kids again. And I would like to develop the ability to respond more skillfully. For some of us, the hot emotions take a much longer time to sit through than just a couple breaths. It might be several minutes, as for me. And so important for us to visualize this in practice to be more successful in the real world. So let's call to mind the situation where we want to respond more skillfully. imagine the surge of hot emotions, pride, righteousness, sense of victimization, outrage, frustration, very hot emotions, especially these days. Notice where they appear in the body. Is it hard to breathe? Is it hard to think? Let's squeeze the thumb of one hand together like this, pretty hard, to give us another physical sensation on which to focus when we are compelled by hot emotions. And let's take several deep breaths. Drawing our attention to the pressure of fist on thumb. Visualize letting the hot emotions just blow by. They pass overhead like wispy clouds, further and further away. As each breath connects us to highest and best, honoring our goals, our highest intentions, and sinking into the healthy righteousness and pride of being able to stick to our own guidelines even when it's hard, to be able to walk our talk when it matters. Taking several deep breaths into this openness. And ease. Understanding that in letting go, I serve my highest and best. I demonstrate my true commitment and love for myself. I've just relaxed my hands. I think I lost feeling in my thumb. I'm going to allow that to restore and notice this openness. And take a moment to cash in on the self-worth, that self-control, and nurturing our highest and best brings. Let's close our practice with several more deep breaths in, each inhalation honoring the divine within each of us that belongs, that is worthy, that is competent. And each exhalation lays down that which doesn't serve. hard to let go of that which doesn't serve. We're attached to it for sometimes reasons that are very old and that we don't understand. But we ask for the willingness to make it happen in the invisible so that we can give our highest and best to self and others. Thank you for joining me today. Look forward to seeing you next week, and I hope you have a lovely Sunday.